It's been more than a week since 4 planes carrying migrant children landed here in Chattanooga. There are similar operations happening across the nation. Now, some of those children are being cared for in a group home, but many others left the airport on a bus. Mary Frances Hoots is here in the studio with more on what happens next in the refugee resettlement process and the number of children relying on sponsors here in Tennessee. Mary Frances.
Well, David, from October to March, 66 unaccompanied children were released to a sponsor right here in Hamilton County. So while the federal government looks for a sponsor, children are taken to about one of 200 facilities across 22 different states. I spoke to a child therapist today about that process and the toll it can take on children. There are about 200 facilities across the country where unaccompanied minors are being housed. One of them is in Chattanooga, which can house between 30 and 50 minors. As of May 13th, there are around 20,000 kids in the care of the Office of Refugee Resettlement nationwide. Their average stay is 31 days. Most children are placed into the ORR care because they were apprehended while trying to cross the border, or they are found after already entering the country.
Not knowing if they'll ever see their parents again.
If a child cannot get in touch with parents, relatives, or legal guardians, they are released to a sponsor. From October to March, 717 unaccompanied children have been released to sponsors in Tennessee. 66 were released in Hamilton County. It's the third largest number in the state, behind Shelby County with 128 and Davidson County with 290. According to ORR's website, sponsors go through an interview process, background checks, and fingerprinting. In some cases, must go through a home study.
Children are raised in a home. They grow attached to their caregivers, and so when those attachment disruptions happen, it makes it difficult to create healthy relationships in the future.
Megan Reddy is a licensed therapist who says children can suffer attachment disruptions. In this scenario, they need basic needs met, but also emotional care.
They really need safety and stability. They need a loving and caring environment with somebody who's very patient.
Last week, Channel 3 reported on 4 flights into Chattanooga, fewer than 10 young boys were relocated to a nearby group home. Hundreds of others were bussed out of town overnight. Reddy says that is a lot for any child to go through.
A situation where they already feel out of control, they further are out of control, in which they are just putting in transportation after transportation after transportation and not feeling empowered to be able to be themselves.
Federal data, which is available online, answers a lot of questions about the program. But as for the number of children currently in Tennessee, the reports are published a month behind. And the bus drivers we have spoken to who transported the children from Chattanooga last week say this operation geared up in Tennessee about a month ago. Now, we will get a look at April's data at the end of this month. Live in the studio, Mary Frances Hooch, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.